I'm John Hewitt. I'm the owner of Loyalty Brands. I've been in franchising and business for 54 years. I started when I was at the University of Buffalo working at H&R Block part-time. Loved it. I was blessed. I found out what I wanted to do when I was 20 years old. And 12 years later, I was running 250 H&R Block locations. And my dad came to me. He was a CFO of a public company, and he decided that he liked the little Apple he bought by mail better than the mainframe that was running his public company. He decided we should computerize taxes. So in 1981, we built the first tax software for an Apple computer. No one wanted it, way ahead of its time. Got blessed and found a company in Virginia Beach called Mel Jackson Tax Service. Mel had died, and we bought 6 offices from his widow. The extra blessing was the weather's a lot nicer in Virginia Beach than it is in Buffalo. So I moved my family down here in August of '82. We merged the 2 companies. We changed the name to Jackson Hewitt. And 15 years later, we sold it, public company, for $483 million. I had a 3-year non-compete that lasted until 2000, but it didn't cover Canada because Jackson Hewitt had no offices in Canada. So we opened Liberty Tax in Canada, and within 3 years, just as I had in the US, built one of the top 100 retail franchise chains in Canada. So now I've done it once in the US and once in Canada. I moved to the United States in 2000 when my non-compete ended, and now I had to compete against Jackson Hewitt, my own name, my own system, and my own software. And yet we grew faster than Jackson Hewitt and H&R Block combined. We opened 4,000 offices over 12 years, top 10 fastest growing franchisor ever. And again, a public company. Again, I sold my stock. And now we've started Loyalty Brands, and one of the brands, one of our 10 premier brands, is CR3 Roofing and Siding. I love the question about what set you apart, because if David had gone onto the field with the same shield and armor and sword as Goliath, there would be no David and Goliath story. He'd be the 187th guy killed by Goliath. So you have to have differentiators. One of the differentiators we have is our enormous amount of experience. The reason we call it Loyalty Brands is I have 24 people that have been with me for over 25 years. And I have 3 of them that have been with me over 30 years. So we bring an incredible amount of experience to franchising. We have a great team in roofing that are incredibly experienced in roofing. So we have the experience in roofing, we have the experience in franchising, and we've been very experienced at building brands. I built 2 of the top 100 retail brands in the country. Now, one of the things that we provide is cross-marketing. So we have other franchises that we can leverage off of. So everywhere in the country, we have people that have done business with myself. I brought in over 5,200 franchisees that have over 150,000 employees. So we have people all over the country to give us referrals. We can do roofs for people that we did tax returns for, that we did home inspections for, that we did mobile grooming for. That cross-marketing sets us apart from any other brand. Yeah, I learned from Stan Phelps, the author of The Purple Goldfish. He has a lot of goldfish books. And I learned from him the lesson that, and he describes it this way, that you never arrive at a party or a meeting exactly on time. If the meeting's at 2 o'clock, you arrive either early or late. You almost never arrive exactly on time. And he said in the same way, you never meet a customer's expectations. You either fail to meet it or exceed it. So our goal is to exceed customers' expectations. That's how we measure our success. And with each customer, it's different. You have to take the pulse of the individual customer. Some people want you to spend 20 minutes talking to them. Some people just want you to drop an offer and give them the offer. You have to take the pulse of each individual customer to ensure that we understand what our customers want and need, and to do a great job for them, we check with our customers afterwards. We call our customers and ask them how we did for them. Now, other companies will typically, they'll send you an email, they'll send you a postcard. Other companies will do surveys to see how they did. We call our customer and ask how we did for them. And what happens, that increases the satisfaction level of a customer, and it increases the referral rate. Customers, most of our salespeople and our operations people are not good at asking for referrals. So when we ask a customer how we did for them, and 95% plus are happy that we've exceeded their expectations, and they're happy and they say, yes, you did a great job, then at that time, a very personable phone person asks for a referral. So it increases our referral rates exponentially. Yeah, that's I learned a long time ago. I'm a student of business, and I learned a long time ago the secret of success. And I was studying that for the first 30 or 35 years of my life. And I wondered, what's the difference between a Walmart and a Kmart? What's the difference in the executive teams of both companies? I said, are the teams at Walmart, are they smarter? Are they more educated? Are they more experienced? And I said, no, you can hire the most experienced. You can hire the most educated. You can hire the smartest. So what's the difference between the executives at Walmart, which is wildly successful, and Kmart, which is very unsuccessful? And I said, I learned it's the culture. It's the culture of the organization. And therefore, what we hire for is attitude. Tom Edison, the founder of IBM, said, give me 100 great engineers or 100 people with great attitudes. I'll take the people with great attitudes, because you can teach engineering. You cannot teach attitude. And I've learned that lesson the hard way over my career. I've had tens of thousands of employees. I've tried to change hundreds and hundreds of their attitudes. Never been successful one time. So one of the ways we do that is by looking for, the number one thing we look for isn't their skills, it's their attitude. So we hire for attitude first. And again, I learned the lesson later in the last half of my career about treating employees right if you want your customers to be treated right. Back when I was with Jackson Hewitt, we had our mission statement was customers for life. Well, subsequent to having that as our mission statement, I read a book, Nuts, by Herb Kelleher from Southwest Airlines. And he said that if you want your customers to be treated best, you got to treat your employees best. And I realized I had been doing that. I've been great to my employees over the years, but I didn't realize how that was the key. If you want your customers to be treated right, you have to treat your employees right. You know, when I first started competing with H&R Block in 1982, in August of 1982, my goal was to be the #1 tax service in the world. And that was quite a big, hairy, audacious goal, because we had 6 offices and H&R Block had 9,000. So I think that the chances of me ever getting anywhere near their size was rounded off 0. So that was a big goal. And we did have the best software in the industry. Block didn't like software, but to grow from 6 to 9,000 is quite audacious. So what we did is we bought 6 offices, and the first tax season we had 11, and then the second tax season we had 15, and the third tax season we had 22. That's not bad, 2.5 years. From August of 82 to January of 85 to build from 6 to 22. But I realized that I would be about 7,000 years old before we get to 9,000 at that rate. And so I said, well, I'm not going to live to 7,000, so I'm going to have to do something different. And we decided to franchise. And it turns out that franchising is, there's great things about it. There's good and bad about everything. And with franchises, you're dealing with entrepreneurs, you're dealing with independents, you're not dealing with employees. You can't just fire people if they don't perform well. You're dealing with partners and people that have a entrepreneurial spirit. And that's a much more difficult relationship. But in every system in this country, franchisees do a better job than company employees. Because in my experience, out of all the thousands of employees I've ever hired, only 2 or 3% act like owners. But 95% of my owners act like owners. And so in every franchise system, the franchisees do a better job than company employees. And so that's the huge benefit to franchising. Now, the drawback is that no one listens. My job as a franchisor is to give you the best system in the industry. I've been doing that for 54 years. We commit to give you the best system in the industry. We commit to try to be your best business partner you ever have. But if I do my job, your job is to listen and follow that system. Now, bringing in 5,200 franchisees, not one has ever listened 100%. And having 6 children and 11 grandchildren and my 4th great-grandchild on the way, I can tell you that none of them listen. And of course, when I was a child, I didn't listen. So human beings just are not good at listening. And so that's the key to being part of a franchise system, is you need to follow the proven method. But it's the best, it's the way to provide the best customer service. Owners act like owners, employees act like employees. Owners out-hustle, outwork, outperform employees.
Amazing.
CR3, the thing I've grown to like a few things about roofing, that the roofing siding industry that I didn't know about. I've only learned about this over the last 18 to 20 months. And I love the fact that a lot of the payments that we receive, a lot of the sales are covered by insurance. It's a lot easier to go to a homeowner and say, you had hail damage or hurricane damage or some wind damage on your roof, and for $500 or your deductible, $500, $300, $1,000, you can get a whole new roof. I can get you a whole new roof. It's a lot easier. It's a lot easier than trying to sell someone a $20 or $25 or $30,000 product without that opportunity to say, we'll get the insurance company to pay for it. So it's a lot easier to say. I love that. Solar's will be pushed from now as far as the eye can see, with everyone believing in global warming and Green New Deal, and they're going to make more and more incentives for solar. The best, even better than insurance, is the phrase tax deductible. That's the best sales phrase in America. It's tax deductible. And so with solar, not only is the tax deduction is so good, it can pay for the whole system that you install. So I love that. And I love the fact that there's more and more storms across America, and they cause roofing damage. And that just, there's a fourth certainty in life, right? There's death and taxes. Benjamin Franklin said that 200 years ago. Dennis Waitley, 35 years ago, said, no, there's another certainty, there's change. And there's a fourth certainty, that there's going to be roofing damage somewhere in the country, often by all the storms that take place every year. Nature is incredibly powerful, and it's changing and creating opportunities for us. So those are the reasons I love the roofing and siding industry. Yeah, I think when talking about conversions, you have to understand that what happens in most businesses is they get to a certain level and they can't grow. And what I've seen, even with my own franchisees, is it's difficult to delegate. One of the problems is delegating. And secondly is, how do you hire the right people? And how do you train the right people? And how do you manage people that aren't in sight? What I've learned is the people that can manage 80 or 90% of them can only manage in one specific location. If, as they need extra locations and they want to expand to more cities and more geography, they're not capable of managing people out of sight. So we're going to give you constant guidance into how to grow your business. If you only want to grow to $1 million business or a $1.5 million business or a $2 million business, you don't need us. If you want to grow to a 10, 15, $20 million business, if you want to be all you can be, our franchise royalties are very inexpensive. So the question is, can you do 6 or 7% better with us as your partner? If you don't understand that, then you haven't met us and talked to us. We are going to help you grow a lot faster than 6 or 7% better. What the amounts that you pay us are easily covered by the growth that you should expect. But if you don't want to grow, you shouldn't think about converting your business to us. If you're happy with doing your $500,000 or $1.5 million business, just keep it. We're not looking for people that only want to have a $1 or $2 million business. We're looking for people that want to grow and be all they can be. And we're going to help you do that. I've already created 1,000 millionaires in my career. So if you want to be the next one, then jump on board. Yeah, I mean, I'm extraordinarily blessed, right? All my blessings come from God. So when I brag about what I've achieved, I've achieved it because of the blessings that I've received, right? And I brought in over 5,200 franchises. If there's anyone else that's ever done that, I've never met them. I'm the only person that's built 2 of the top 100 franchise chains in the United States. And I also built 1 in Canada. I've also built 2 $500 million public companies. I've been the CEO of 2 $500 million companies. If you want to grow, you have a premier expert. And I've surrounded myself with 24 people that have helped me get there, that have helped me build. That you don't just have access to me, you have access to 24 other people that know that's seen us build from essentially almost zero to $500 million companies. So you have access to the most experienced franchise team in the country.